Hello, everyone. My name is Lauren Hagan. I am the Assistant Director of Admissions for Transfer Students here at Kentucky Wesleyan. And I am here also with Dr. Armstrong, and we will be discussing the importance of academic advising for all students, whether you are a first-time freshman or if you are an experienced senior. This is very important for everyone because everyone needs advising. They need some type of guidance to help them get to the classes that they need to graduate and what they will need for their education and beyond. So without further ado, I'm going to have our guest introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Shane Armstrong, and I serve Kentucky Wesleyan as the Dean of Student Success. And today I'm here to talk to you about academic advising, which is a very important function at the college. As the Dean of Student Success, this is one of my areas of responsibility. And so I asked the admission staff if I could spend some time talking with you so that you would have a better understanding. So let's start at the very beginning, which is a student is admitted to the college and they commit, tell us that they're coming. And at that point, I begin the advising process. How this works is that each student fills out an application when they apply to the college, and that has some really valuable information. Not only does it tell me where you went to high school, where you live, gives me good contact information for you, it lets me know what major you're considering right now. Now, when I say right now, it's because many students change their mind about their major. In fact, about 10% of the incoming freshman class this year have already changed their mind about their major. Totally fine. We know that coming to college is a time of exploration, and it's an exciting time, and often you'll be exposed to new ideas, new ways of thinking, new disciplines, maybe that you've never taken a class in before, and so it's very normal that students may change their mind. Once they arrive, students could change their mind again, and that's fine. Often you might take a class and suddenly decide this is fascinating, and now I'm thinking that this could be something I could study. So know that that is not an issue at all if you change your mind and if your application has a major that's different from what you ultimately study. On your application, I'm also looking at, are you a student athlete or not? If you're a student athlete, we'll need to make special considerations. If you're a fall athlete, we'll need to adjust your schedule. I have everyone's practice schedule for all the sports that the coaches have given me, and we'll work around those to make sure that you don't have classes at a time when you will need to be practicing your sport. I'll also look at, are you a first generation student? Are you a student who neither parent has graduated from college? I'm a first generation student, and those students sometimes have more questions or different types of questions, and so we want to make sure that we pay special attention to them. Lastly, we'll look at, are you residential? Are you going to live on campus, or are you a commuter student? So you're going to drive from somewhere else. There are a significant number of us who live on campus, about 50%, and the rest commute in. Some of us commute from just across town, and others commute from a county away. So I'll also want to be aware of that. If you're a student who lives on campus, maybe an early morning class is going to be easier for you than someone who lives half an hour, 45 minutes away. So I'll look at all those things. I'll also look at your high school transcript. What kinds of things did you take in high school? What did you do well in? What were areas that maybe you struggled in? Did you take any AP classes? Did you take any dual enrollment classes? Did you take any classes at other colleges, maybe in the summer or even while you were in high school? If so, you probably have attached a transcript from there. And if you haven't, then we're going to ask you to send an official transcript from their registrar to ours. And that will allow our registrar to evaluate all the classes you've taken and to assign the proper credit that you've already earned toward your degree at Kentucky Wesleyan. So once all of that has happened, it's time to start the advising process. And I hope at this point you've been online and looked at our academic bulletin. Now, some schools call this an academic catalog, but we call it our bulletin. You can find this from our main website page. Just go to the top right of the navigation tool, and it says I am, put in I am a current student, and then a bunch of topics will pop up. And the academic bulletin is usually the very first topic. We publish a bulletin every year. It has all of our course descriptions. It has all the rules and regulations of the college and all of our academic policies. So it's very important. It has the academic calendar, has really important information that you will need. The year that you begin at the college, you come in under the rules of that catalog. So make sure that you look at the most current one. The catalog gives you an opportunity to look at each major and what types of classes are going to be required for that. Sometimes a student has picked a potential major and they haven't even looked at what kinds of classes they'll be taking. So when they look at that, sometimes I'll get kind of a frantic call or an email that says, hey, I looked at all these classes and that's not really what I'm interested in. Okay, well then we need to switch gears a little bit. But again, for every single major, you can find a description of the major written by the faculty in that area. You will find the core classes that you must take, so you need to look over those. You will find supporting requirements, so classes that the faculty wants you to take in addition to those core requirements. And all faculty have designed a 4-year plan. And this is, in their perfect world, if every class was available and fit in your schedule at the right time, this is the order they would like you to take the classes. Sometimes that works, and sometimes that doesn't. The core requirements, it usually can work. Sometimes for general education, which I'm going to talk about in just a moment, we'll have to switch some things up, and that's totally fine. So you might want to take the opportunity to look at those at the beginning of the advising process. So once a student has committed to the college, paid their deposit, I will hear from admission that this student is ready for advising. And at that point, either I will advise them or they'll be assigned to an advisor. Now, if you're a transfer student who's coming in with more than 30 hours or has already earned an associate's degree and has declared a major, you will go directly to an advisor in that area. Okay. However, if you're a freshman, even if you're a freshman coming in with AP credits, or even if you're a freshman coming in with some college work, if you're truly a college first-time freshman, it's the first time you've gone to college full-time, then you will come to me and I will either advise you or a faculty member that I have selected will advise you. So I would like to talk to you a little bit about general education at Kentucky Wesleyan because that's really where it all starts. All freshman students take 41 hours of general education. And general education courses are courses that our faculty have determined will help you have a broad base in your liberal arts education at Kentucky Wesleyan. Okay. So a group of faculty, the entire faculty, well, a group of faculty met and worked on this, and then the entire faculty voted on this. And this happened years ago. And there have been some changes over time as faculty have decided we think some areas maybe are more important right now and some areas are less. But right now, our general education requirements are that you would take 41 hours of credit. And let me just talk you through that. First of all, you would take general humanities. You would take 9 hours in general humanities. 3 of those must be in history. We offer World Civ and we offer American history. And then we also offer some history classes that are at the higher level. The ones I'm mentioning are going to be the 100 level, freshman level classes. You have to take 1 religion class. There are 2 100 religion classes. There is a survey of religion that's really an introduction to religion. And then there's a survey of Christian traditions. And that'll leave you with 3 more hours. And you can choose either, hey, I liked history, I'm going to take another class, or I liked religion and I'm going to take another class. Or other options would be modern language or philosophy. Okay. So 9 hours there. Then you're going to take 6 hours in aesthetics. You're going to take 1 literature class, and you're going to take a class that's either art, music, or theater. Next up, general social science. You're going to take 6 hours here, and you're going to take, you need to study 2 different disciplines. So some of the disciplines in this include sociology, psychology, political science. And you can't just say, I really like political science, I'm going to take both classes there. Nope, we want to be broad-based, and so you're going to take classes in different areas. Other things in that category would be criminal justice, there's an international business class, there's a geography class, so there are lots of options. Next up, you're going to take 3 hours in physical and health education. Everybody takes this class, it's called fitness and wellness. People always ask me, am I going to have to dress out? No, it's not that kind of class. It's an academic class in the classroom. You're going to learn about you're going to learn about fitness and wellness and health and nutrition, and you're going to develop a personal plan for yourself. And that's a 3-hour class that everyone's required to take. You're going to take general natural sciences. You need to take 7 hours of natural sciences, and you need to take them in 2 different disciplines, and one of them needs to be with a lab. Now, sometimes people will say, I'm not a science major, and I'm a little nervous about this. That's okay. We have science classes that are for non-science majors, okay? And we have labs that are for non-science majors. So again, you'll pick from biology, chemistry, physics, environmental science. You can pick from forensic science, zoology. So lots of options there. Next up, mathematics. Everyone takes 3 hours of mathematics. Again, you will take it at whatever level that you test into and whatever is appropriate for your major. So please don't worry that we're going to, as a freshman, going to necessarily put you in calculus. That's not the norm. Most people take college algebra, but there also are other classes like probability and stats that you might be more interested in. Finally, communication skills. Everyone takes 2 writing classes. Many schools call this freshman comp. We call it writing workshop. You take it 1 semester in the fall, 1 in the spring. And then you take computer literacy, which is a 1-hour, 8-week online class that meets seated 1 time, and then the rest of the time is on your own. And all freshmen take the freshman seminar, KW 101, which is a 2-hour class. Now, I'm ending with KW 101 because that is our bridge into academic advising. The faculty who teach the freshman seminar are faculty who are very committed to freshmen. They've had additional training in how to teach freshmen, how to advise freshmen, and how to work with freshmen. They have applied to teach this class, and I have interviewed them and hired them, and I'm the one that's trained them. I created the curriculum in this class, and it's really a balance of academics and social. So this class teaches you how to be a successful college student. Okay. And it teaches you specifically how to do that at Kentucky Wesleyan. Make sure that you're aware of all the resources that we have on campus, all the different offices that can help you be successful, the policies, how things work at the college. At the same time, it's very important that you make social connections your freshman year. This class is small. There will be 20 students or fewer, and your faculty member understands that their job is really to shepherd you through your first year. So you will have them in class 2 times a week during the fall, and then in the spring, they'll be in regular contact with you. This person is the one who may reach out to advise you, or again, it could be me. But this person, once you have committed and been registered, you will hear from them regularly. If you're coming in the fall, you'll hear from them through the summer. And if you're coming in January, then you may hear from them right before you arrive. During the freshman seminar, we really empower freshmen to take responsibility for their own planning of their education. So academic advising is not just, I come to a faculty member's office and I say to them, what do I take next? Okay, that's not how it works. So during your KW 101 class, we'll spend a week where students do assignments that are based on the bulletin, understanding more about a major that they're interested in, and looking at the 4-year plan for that major. More and more majors are requiring that you get out in the field to do internships or practica. But our director of career development would say that all of today's employers are looking for you to have some relevant experience when you start your career. So when I went to college, as long as you had good grades, you're pretty much going to get a job when you graduated. And that's really changed now. Employers expect good grades, but they also expect that you will have been in the workforce to a certain extent. Now, that can be that you've been volunteering. That can be that you've done an internship. That can be that you've had a part-time job. But all of those things, as well as your grades and other activities you've been involved with while you were at Kentucky Wesleyan, will be a huge asset when you start looking for a full-time job. So with academic advising, what normally happens is that the person advising you will consult the academic bulletin. What do the faculty in your discipline want you to take your first semester? And you'll be contacted by myself or a faculty member, and they will give you that list of classes. Now, some classes are sequential, and so There's not maybe as much discussion about, I really don't want to take this, or I want to take this 2 years from now. Some classes you have to take in order. And so your advisor will be aware of that and will let you know. Some classes like general education, the ones I just talked about, are much more flexible. They're going to be offered semester after semester, and maybe you'd rather take history first and then take religion in a year. That's fine too. Now, general education, I mentioned it's 41 hours, but it's not a situation where you take all 41 from this list I just mentioned, and then you're finished with general education and you move into core requirements for your major. Most majors, in fact, do have you take an introductory class your first semester or your second semester. So don't be surprised if you see something like that that's recommended. So that is how advising works at Kentucky Wesleyan. You're assigned an advisor, they get in touch with you, they give you a proposed list of classes after they've reviewed your admission application and all the factors that I mentioned earlier, and you have a conversation. Are you interested in this class now? Are you interested if we have a learning community? Are you interested in being involved in music or theater or art? I was looking through someone's application recently, and while they were majoring in business in high school, they had been involved in pep band, jazz band, obviously had a big interest in music, but they weren't planning to major in music. And I emailed them and said, would you be interested in, taking some music class? Absolutely, they would. They just didn't want to major in it. So those kinds of things come out in the conversation between the advisor and the new student. After we agree on what you're going to take, and again, you're in the driver's seat, then I will look through the course list, which is our schedule of classes, and put together a schedule. Again, I'm looking at things like, what's your commute like, or are you on campus? You can just come right over. What is your practice schedule like? Those kinds of things. We try intentionally to give you breaks in between your classes so that you have study time. So if at all possible, I won't put you in a 9 o'clock, a 10 o'clock, and 11 o'clock. I'll put you in a 9 o'clock knowing that from 10 to 11, you'll have time to review your notes from your 9 o'clock class. And then maybe you'll have an 11 o'clock. It's not always possible depending on what you're planning to take, but that is the way that we try to build your schedule. We try to build it across all 5 days. Sometimes students will say, I just need a Tuesday, Thursday schedule. That is really challenging for me because not all classes are offered on Tuesday, Thursday, and not all classes are offered Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And there is a team that works on building a schedule every semester so that we do have a nice distribution of classes across all 5 days. We also offer classes in the evening sometimes, and so know that that could come up. As our natural science program has expanded, we have found that we couldn't accommodate all of those students in labs just in the afternoon. And so we've gone to some evening classes, which work just fine. You probably have been told that college is not an 8 to 5 gig, and it's really true. And so to have an evening class or to have a weekend study group is really normal. And so you really have to think of your schedule that way, that, maybe on Tuesday and Thursday, your classes don't start till 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That doesn't mean that you necessarily need to sleep till noon. It simply could mean, hey, that's a good morning for me to get in my workout and to meet with my study group and to go ahead and do some homework. And so it's kind of a different way of thinking than high school, which for most people was more of a block schedule. For transfer students, when you apply and you're accepted and you commit, you will submit transcripts and let our registrar know what you've already taken at other institutions. Our registrar is the person who officially evaluates those and decides which classes transfer straight in, class for class. Let's say you took Intro to Psychology at another college, you're going to get credit for Intro to Psychology here. Some classes aren't straight transfers, in which case the registrar may just assign you elective credits. Those are still important. That means you won't have to take a class for that. It still counts. It's still important that you took it. You're still getting credit for it. If you're a transfer student who already has declared your major, has more than 30 hours, you will go directly to an advisor in your major, okay? You will not take freshman seminar, and you won't work with that instructor. You will go on because you've already declared and you have a significant amount of coursework, and so we want you to go ahead and work with somebody in your discipline. And so that person will reach out to you and introduce themselves and let you know, based on your transcript, what they recommend that you take next. And you'll have a conversation with them, and then they will get you registered. Okay. I did want to mention that sometimes people ask, well, am I always going to be with the same freshman seminar advisor? And the answer is no. You're with them for a year. Again, they have special training to support freshmen. And in about March, we have a bridging ceremony. And at that point, whatever major you've chosen, you are presented to faculty in that discipline. And that person is your new advisor. Now, what if you are still undecided? That is an absolutely valid choice. We have lots of students, I call them the explorers, who have not decided yet by March of their freshman year. Totally fine. You still have plenty of time to make a decision. And we put you in a special group with somebody who's had training to help students who are undecided, come closer to finding their major. At the bridging ceremony, though, you're formally moved to your new advisor, and you meet other people who've chosen your major, and that's really your first connection with that new advisor. At that point, that person will be your advisor for the rest of your time at Kentucky Wesleyan. Why do we put you with somebody in your discipline? Because you're interested in zoology, and that's what they do. That's what they're interested in. So they're going to have connections in the community to help you maybe find a part-time job or a volunteer experience. They're going to be great for writing letters of recommendation to vet school, if that's what you want to do. And they are going to be able to give the best advice that's specific to the major that you've selected. And so that's why we put you with someone who is in your area of interest, because we feel like the connection will be there both personally and professionally. That's really how academic advising works at Kentucky Wesleyan. It is a very approachable process. Faculty, all of our full-time faculty serve as academic advisors. It is very much part of their teaching experience because, again, we really let students map out their 4 years. We let students take a large amount of responsibility, and the time you spend with your advisor is not just scheduling. Should I take this class at 8 o'clock or 11? That's not what's important in the advising relationship. What's important is the conversation that you have, and that person really being a resource and a guide for you on this journey. All right, well, thank you for listening. And if you would have questions about academic advising, you could always contact me, S. Armstrong at kwc.edu, Shane Armstrong. And my office is in the Student Success Center, and we really serve as the hub of student academic support, and academic advising is part of that. So thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you, Dr. Armstrong, and thank you everybody for listening in. Feel free to check back here every Tuesday and Thursday throughout the summer for more opportunities to chat about Kentucky Wesleyan. Thanks.